Hi, it's Kylie Koo. Welcome to my studio. So, welcome to this Winter Solstice intention setting video. You will have seen the little clips of video footage that I took on the Winter Solstice. I took it just after sunrise that day. Not that I saw any sun until much later in the day, but it was still a beautiful atmosphere. And I like to celebrate the solstices by going out in those days, same at the times of the spring and the autumn equinox. And I've got a project for you today. It's not specifically about the solstice, it could be about a New Year project. So it doesn't matter where in the world you are. This kind of project can be done at any time, whenever you feel like setting some intentions for yourself for a period ahead. And for me, that period is the year ahead. So before I pull some paper out, I'm going to move my candle completely out the way, as much as I like it there. For safety reasons, I'm going to move it well away. Now, you'll need to excuse the slight croakiness in my voice or whatever, but I think I'm getting a cold for Christmas. Just what I don't need, but there we go. There's worse things. So for this, I'm going to make a little journal, and you are welcome to do something similar. And I'm really just going to make it out of a basic sheet of printer paper. I did have a look through my stash and I came across these kind of buff coloured sheets, so I'm actually going to use that rather than the plain white, because I want to decorate this a bit, but my main focus is about getting some words and thoughts down. So if you're joining in, I hope you enjoy this, and do let me know how you get on. So the first thing I want to do, and I've obviously had a bit of time to think about this beforehand, and I was thinking about it when I was out in the solstice and having my walk. And in fact, I had this grand idea that I would film myself sitting writing, but it was so windy, it was actually almost blowing my phone, which I was using as a camera. It was blowing that out of my hand. So we're going to do a little folded booklet with one sheet of paper. On the back of this, I am going to write out, I've been reflecting on, the past year and what I feel wasn't so good for me. So the things actually more or less within myself that I want to leave behind in this year. And I've scribbled them down on a bit of paper. So I am just going to write these out in any way on the back page. Doesn't matter what colour. You won't need a lot of things for this particular project, and it is something I'll be building on later in the year. I think I'm just going to use a basic black pen. Let me see if this is, yeah. So I'm just going to write down a number of things here, and I'll go over them very briefly with you. Obviously, some of them might be touching on the personal, so I won't go into all of the detail. But basically, writing down the things that I want to let go this year because they're not serving me. So, the things I've written down, and I'm sure I could have written many more, but procrastination, I do that a lot. I've got worse in that respect. Self-doubt. Comparison, so comparing myself with others, especially in terms of artwork. Overreacting. Linked to that is anger. Scrolling, getting the phone out and through Instagram, Facebook, albeit I've not been on that as much, etc. Imposter syndrome, it hits me all the time. And enough said. Bad habits, I could have listed lots and lots under that, but I'm just kind of grouping it together as that. And saying yes when I actually mean no. So taking things on agreeing to do things for people when actually I don't really want to, but I feel I should or I have to. So those are the things I want to let go of this year as I move forward in the year ahead. And what I'm going to do now is this will go to the inside of the booklet. It won't be seen. Some people would cut these out and then burn them. I don't do that kind of ritual type thing. I'm happy enough just to have noted them down, and I'll now cover them up. You could cover them up with paint if needs be. I'm just going to leave it. So I'm now going to fold this into a small 8-page booklet. Some people call it a zine, so it's zine style in terms of some types of zine, but this isn't a zine because I'm not going to be copying this and sending it. But the way I'm going to do it, you've probably seen this before. I'm going to take the short end to the short end and I'm going to fold that in half. I'm going to try and line it up as neatly as I can. It must be really cold in my studio. I'm not feeling too much, but I can actually see my breath. I'm going to then put a nice crease line in that. I'm then going to take this side and I'm going to bring it out the way. Again, trying to line it up as neatly as possible. This is one of these jobs I like to kind of stand right overhead to look at, but if I did that you'd just see my head. And I'm going to put another crease line. I'm then just going to flip that over and I'm going to put this line back, fold this side back to here. And if it runs slightly off, it's not too big of a deal, it just makes it a little bit squinty. Okay, I'm just going to fold those all down. You can, of course, use a bone folder. So I now have those 4 sort of columns. What I'm going to do now is fold it long side to long side. I'm going to do this way just because I find it a little bit easier. So again, I find it easiest just to try and get the corners first. And then make a line. So we now have 8 panels, 4 and 4. And what we're going to do is to cut this from here to here, which will then allow us to fold our booklet. Now the easiest way is to fold it in half and then just to cut along that line. So that fold, you might want to, you can see that as soon as you start to fold it, lines go a little bit squint. It's just because you're folding one piece of paper in so many ways that you are going to get a tiny bit of buckling. So that would be the point to go back over them if you feel you need to. But I'm just going to get my scissors because I didn't lay them out. Keep it in line. Now, if you've been with me a while, which many of you have, and I'm very grateful to you all, you know that I can't cut a straight line. That's why I tear things. A, because I prefer things torn, and B, because I can't cut a straight line anyway. So we now have this hole in the middle here, and I always think this is like a frog's mouth. So we're going to grab each side here, push that together, and then that will form our booklet. Now, it doesn't matter where you start. Because I sometimes design these in advance, will often make this my front page where there's the kind of opening, but really you can start wherever you want. It doesn't matter at all. This will give us 8 pages. This will be my front page, this will be my back page, and then I'm going to have something on each of these. So on the front, I was going to use my stamp set. Again, if you've been with me for a long time, you know that things go walkabout in here. So I don't have my stamp set, my letter stamp set, so I'm just going to write Winter Solstice 2024 and intentions for the year ahead or something like that. Okay, a little bit scrappy, but that's okay. I can live with that. All I'm going to do now is just kind of thicken up the letters. I could take a thicker pen. That would probably make more sense. I've got a black pen here. Got one of these Tombos. I think it has a thick and a... Yep, I'll do it with a kind of felt tip end. Could obviously be done in colour. Could be done in a beautiful script if that's your thing. That's okay, I can live with that. Right, so for me, the next thing I want to do is to have, I don't want to call it a word for the year, but in a sense it is a word for the year. I just want to think about the things that I want to change. And if I think about bad habits, let's just take that as an example. I drink way too much coffee, and I would actually like to reduce the amount of coffee I drink because of some other intentions. I think that might help those other intentions. But you know, I'm not gonna give up coffee. I couldn't give up coffee. So the word that I'm thinking of is, well, I'll just say it, it's balance, because it's about bringing balance. So, you know, moderation would be another word. So I'm not going to give up drinking coffee, but equally I want to reduce it. So it's about balance in my approach to things. So not going, you know, into something and giving it up so much that I then don't have the enjoyment of it. So my word for the year will be balance. I'm just going to write it. I did actually, I wanted to put some sort of symbol to represent balance, and I thought the yin and yang symbol would be a good one for that. So all I did, I went on to Pixabay, which is a website you can download things from. And here we go with the scissors again. I downloaded a yin and yang image, and I just downloaded it in the lowest quality because I didn't want it taking up too much space on my computer. I've then reduced the size, and I'm just going to use this to represent balance. And of course it's going to be all raggedy because I can't cut, but that doesn't matter. And what I will do is I will go over it, the black in particular, I'll go over it. So I'll put that about there, and I'm simply going to write balance here. So will I pick a different colour? Why not? Let's go with this. Don't know why blue, doesn't matter. Let's give it a little bit of a different look to the front page. A N C and E. No, I've not quite centred it, but we're not going to worry about that either. I should have perhaps put something. It's not, it doesn't matter if it goes through, I just don't want it going through to the front page. Okay. Why do I keep doing that? And I'm just going to use a bit of a glue stick and stick this down. And of course I can come back in at any time and add a bit more detail to it. I really just want to get this done so that I've done the exercise. I'm going to colour it before I put it down, just in case I go way off. I'll try and use my printer's also running out of ink, so it didn't come out terribly well, but I would have drawn it, but when I've tried to draw this in the past, it's never really worked for me. Right, I'll finish doing that and then I'll be back. I think those Tombow pens are water soluble, so I need to make sure that I don't put any water on it, because otherwise it would run. Okay, I think that will do. Next, I had a think about how I would want to categorise what I want to bring into the new year, what I want to focus on for the next year. And I've split it into a number of categories. The first three are mind, body and spirit. So I'm going to do a page for mind, a page for body and a page for spirit. And I'm going to write out 3 things under each of those that I am going to do more of to help me. So I'm going to just simply write them down and then I will explain them very briefly to you. If you're doing this, you will come up with different things, no doubt. Now, before I go over what I wrote there, there's 2 others I want to do here. One is about my art, and just my kind of art practice. The other is about this channel, my YouTube channel. So I'm going to do another couple here. What colours do I want? Well, no, I don't like pink, but hey. And that's a different blue to that one, so I'll use that. Right. So I've just continued in the same sort of basic script style, so I'm just going to write art and channel, and then I'll write 3 things under each. Now I'm thinking, how do I spell channel? Is it 2 N's? I hope so. If not, too bad. Yeah, because it'd be Chanel otherwise, wouldn't it? Or is that how Chanel spells Chanel? Who knows? Right, I'm going to write 3 things under each of these now. Okay, so I've got the front page. I've got my kind of word that I want to kind of live by for the year, balance. Under mind, I want to read more, I want to write more, and I want to learn a new skill. I used to write quite a bit of poetry. I'd quite like to get back to that. I started a blog at one time. I'm not saying I'm going to do that again, but you know, they say there's a book in everyone, so maybe this would be my year for that, but who knows. And you know, in terms of the new skill, I'm not yet sure what it will be. Learning to be less messy and transferring colour maybe, but no, I want to learn a new skill. So that, I put all of that under mind, but everything is kind of interconnected. Under body, I've put down nourishment, exercise and sleep. I eat reasonably well. I make a lot of my food from scratch, but I've let bad habits, so going back to the bad habits, slip in, you know, and I have now got a kind of addiction for crisps. What's it you call them? Is it chips? Yeah, chips, if you're in the US. And, you know, there's things like that. Chocolate sometimes, just getting a bit too fond of it. But, you know, the whole point is balance. I'm not going to give chocolate up. I'm not going to give crisps up completely, but they should be a treat rather than the main part of my nourishment, because, well, crisps have no nourishment. Exercise, that will be mainly in the form of walking, although I'd like to get back to doing some yoga. And sleep is a big thing for me, because I've never, ever in all my life had a good sleep pattern. But I'm finding now that it's becoming more disruptive. You know, the night before last, I had wanted to film this video on the 21st. I'm having to film this bit of it on the 22nd. Because I had such a terrible sleep overnight on Friday, Saturday, that although I went out early and did my little bit of filming, I was just exhausted and ended up dozing all day, which, of course, is not good for me. So I want to do something about my sleep, and that's another reason for perhaps cutting down on the caffeine, etc. Under spirit, I've put 3 things. Meditation, I do like to meditate. I've kind of fallen out of that practice. I want to recognise gratitude and be grateful for all the good things in my life. And I want to find joy and recognise joy when it's there. And I'm not going to go into everything that lies behind all of that. Under art, I'm simply going to show up. You know, it's the only way to move forward is to show up. And it doesn't matter what I create, I just need to be creating. I'm also going to experiment more. There's things that I've wanted to try, and if I don't show up, then I've not got the time to experiment. And I also want to develop. There are certain things where I want to develop my skills, because I know there are areas that I just feel I could do better in them. Under channel, I want to be consistent, so it's about showing up every week and hopefully twice a week. My plan is a video every Wednesday and every Saturday. If I find that every Wednesday is too much, 2 videos a week is too much, then I may drop back to 2 per month. But, you know, that's something I will try and just see how it goes. Quality. I sometimes feel that the quality of my videos is not what it should be. Now, I'm limited in terms of the equipment that I've got, in terms of the lighting. My camera is now about 10 years old, so it's probably getting past its best. But there's just some other things I feel I could do that would improve the quality. So I will do what I can with what I have. And in here, last but certainly no means least, is community. Now, for a while there, I wasn't answering comments, and I just didn't like that I wasn't doing that. There were reasons behind it, and some of it goes back to other things that I won't get into. But, you know, I want to do better at responding to comments, and, you know, the community that surrounds my channel is just so important to me. You are all so important to me, so that's why that's in there. So I'm now at my last page. I will be doing some more decorating, but I want to have a kind of motto, I suppose, for the year. I've got my word. I want a motto, and again, I'd been thinking about it, and I'd come up, it's a kind of message to myself. And I was thinking, just keep moving forward. And just as I was sitting here doing all this, I thought, keep moving forward with grace, because the word that I used at the start of the 52-week journal on that very first page was grace. It just came out of nowhere. And, you know, especially in terms of all of this, I have to give myself grace, because as much as I want to be consistent, there are things going on in my life that may mean that, as has happened at other times, I mean, this year, beginning of June, broke my wrist, I couldn't make videos. You know, and there's been other things in the past where I've just had to step away from it. You know, it's all about priorities, it's all about perspective on everything. So I am going to write here, keep moving forward with grace. So I need to pick another colour. Let me have a look. Okay, I would have liked to have used orange because it's my favourite colour, but I've used that, so I want to use something a bit different. It's a kind of peach colour. Hopefully this will show up. Now, keep moving forward with grace. Let's see how we fit this in. Might use the shorter end next, the felt tip end. I'm going to just offset the next word. Right, I'll just go over that, then I'll be back. So, before I go on to decorate more of the pages, I want to seal everything that's in the back here. I want to seal it all in, so everything I've written. So I am just going to do a 3-hole stitch to seal this in. You could actually glue these down. I'm just going to do 3-hole stitch. I've got a needle just with a piece of waxed thread. I had a bit of baker's twine lying about, but that was too difficult to thread. So got my awl, not going to measure it, just one roughly in the middle, one either side. If you're doing something like this and you don't want to, you know, if you feel, I know some people just don't like doing that, the 3-hole thing, put one hole there, big enough that whatever thread you've got can just poke through without even a needle, and then you simply put one bit through each and then tie it there. Right, where am I putting the knot? I think I'll put it on the outside, not that it matters. So I'll start from the outside. So in through the middle hole, leave a bit of a tail, enough to tie it off, just flip it over, in through the top hole. Again, if you've watched me for a while, you've probably seen me do this many times before. Then I'm going to take it all the way down to the bottom on the back, or on the outside, back there, back through that middle hole, just making sure that I'm going to bring it to the other side of that thread, just it makes for a stronger knot. Pull that through. Really one of the simplest bookbinding methods that you can get. I'm just going to, oh gosh, I've started to tear it, we won't worry. That's the problem, I tried to tear it, and because it's not thick paper, it's got a little bit, what's the word? Delicate. So I'm just going to tie a knot there. It's a little bit loose, but that's okay. Not worrying. All about perspective, keeping things in balance. So that's well and truly sealed in now. What I'm going to do now is a little bit of decoration. I'm actually going to use some washi tape, keep that needle safe, just by way of decoration, and also sealing up some of these bits because I really don't want to see what's in there. So let me get my washi tapes out. So I hardly ever use washi tapes, but I do have a few of them, so I am going to use these. That shouldn't be in there. Right, let me pick a few out. Life is a journey, I guess. That's quite a good one. I always like my butterfly ones. I don't think I've got much left of that, but heart. Birds, of course. I like something a bit more, some colour on some of them. Oh, there's a colourful one with birds. Right. Let's see where this takes us. This is quite a nice, this is broader than some of them, so I think I'm going to put this down, this outside bit. Cover up my messy, poor stitching. Hopefully that's big enough. I'm going to try and sharpen all my scissors over the holiday period. They end up getting glue and paint and who knows all what's stuck on them. One down the middle here. Might have the life as a journey. So now, do I need them in the middle of everything? Perhaps not. What I do want to do I don't think I do. So having done all that, I'm just going to tear that and I'm actually just going to use that as decoration there. Right, what I want to do, I want to seal these bits, so I'll use this one. Looking for some that's just a little bit broader to be able to go right over. These bits could of course be made into pockets, you know, so if you don't want to seal them, you could actually make them into pockets. Now I still have pieces open at the bottom and at the top, so the decision now is, do I go ahead and do those? And I think I am, so I'm just going to put some tape over the rest of them and then I'll be back. So it's done, and I've got my cup of coffee because this is the first one I've had since I started filming, so all about balance. I've got bits of washi tape stuck to it. Brought my candle back in just to remind us that here in the Northern Hemisphere at least, we will start to see the light coming back in. But you know, if you're in the Southern Hemisphere, you can still do an exercise like this for the new year, you know, or of course for your summer solstice, albeit it's also past now. So let's just have a quick flip through this. There is going to be a spin-off project coming from this. Now that I've made these kind of, let's just say, commitments to myself, I want to just kind of think about them each month, and I'm going to put together a journal, and I'll let you see me making that journal, and I'm also going to do a journal page each month, probably the last Wednesday of each month, and then seeing how I do for the year. I don't want to do one of these things where it's a kind of checklist. How many times did I have a cup of coffee and wasn't I terrible for doing so? It's more just about, have I managed to embrace what I've set out here into kind of daily living? Anyway, I hope that all makes sense. Let's just take this down, a quick look. I have not tried to colour coordinate it in any way, shape or form. I have just used washi tape to seal up all the edges and to secure the binding. As you put in washi tape down, you will find it kind of pulls the pages in a bit of a different way, so you might need to just keep smoothing it out. So my Winter Solstice 2024 intentions for the year ahead, and I've talked about my kind of word going forward to keep in mind is balance. Everything's about balance. In terms of mind, I'm going to read more, I'm going to write more, and I want to develop a new skill. And I used all the little bits of washi tape that I'd pulled off. In terms of body, I'm going to think about food that is nourishing rather than kind of junk food. And that's not being judgmental of the food that anybody eats. You know, that's just for me personally where I want to make some changes. Exercise, as I said, probably in the form of walking mainly and a bit of yoga, and working on trying to get better sleep. In terms of spirit, meditation, but also very much about recognising gratitude and recognising where I have joy in my life. In terms of my art, just showing up, experimenting and developing. In terms of the channel, being consistent, bringing quality videos, hopefully, improving the quality, and community about you. And then my kind of motto for the year, my message to myself is keep moving forward, but with grace. You know, so always having that in mind. We've got to be kind to ourselves and, of course, to others. So on that note, this will be my last video before Christmas. So if you celebrate Christmas, then a very Merry Christmas to you. If there's something else you celebrate at this time of the year, then, I send you my best wishes for whatever that is. Whether that's past or coming forward, best of wishes. And maybe you don't celebrate anything at this time of year, and that's fine. I still send you my best wishes also. And, it's a funny time of the year for a lot of people. It brings memories of things, memories of people, and I know it can be difficult. I feel that myself in many ways. If you're on your own at Christmas, then, know that I'm thinking of you. If you want to, pop in, watch one of my videos and leave a comment, and I will reply to that. And, just know that I'm thinking of you all. So I will be back on Saturday. That's the Saturday in between Christmas Day and the end of the year. Gosh, the time just now is just... Anyway, so I will be back next Saturday, and I will have page 52 and the back cover of my 52-week journal. And then on the 31st, which will be Hogmanay, I'll be bringing a flip through of my 52-week journal. Yep, then on the 2nd of January, there'll be a very short intro to the 52-week project for next year, but it will start properly on the following Saturday. So, I do hope you've enjoyed this. It was actually quite a fun project to do. There was a lot of depth to it in terms of the thinking through of things for me, but the way it's turned out, I think it's quite jolly actually. And this will go towards part of my journal that I'm going to set up for next year. I'm probably going to keep it in a little pocket. I didn't put a bit of tape in there. There should have been a bit of tape in there, because I've put it everywhere else. So I will close now. Do enjoy whatever it is that you're doing at this time of year. I hope it is good for you, and see you soon. Bye for now.